Hey everybody, we're going to be doing a video that I've wanted to put together for a while. I'm trying to do a video that covers everything you need to know on how to ride a motorcycle. You know, there's three parts to riding a motorcycle. There's the streets, there's the freeways, there's also the twisty mountain roads. So this is going to be called the Ultimate Complete Motorcycle Riding Guide, because with the invention of the GoPro and now with bigger SD cards where you can record longer than like 5 or 10 minutes, we can now cram all this information into one video. So we're gonna be getting on the motorcycle. It's very hot but also very windy, so I had the visor closed. But we're going to be getting on the motorcycle. We're going to show you some things before we get on. This right here stabilizes the handlebars at high speeds right here, and you could adjust it. On Japanese bikes, on most bikes, and we're just going to cover, give me about another 30 seconds, we're going to get on the bike and we'll ride it. We're going to give you a little lesson here. But on Japanese bikes, if you're sitting on the bike, the left side has to do with shifting. This is the clutch lever, that's the gear shift lever down there. The right side has to do with braking. This is the front brake, and that down there is the rear brake. Now, the best way to describe shifting is this gear shift lever right here. Hopefully you can see that. Got the camera situated good. Yeah, right here. It's like a ladder. You're going to put your foot on top or underneath. If you're shifting upward, you're going to put your foot like this underneath and kick upward. And if you need to shift downward, you're going to put on top and kick downward. Just imagine a ladder, and let's get on the motorcycle and let's ride. You know how you have the first rung of the ladder, and then as you climb up the ladder, where's the camera here? You have second, third, fourth, like that with the ladder. Well, on a motorcycle, it's a little bit different. You have first, then neutral is in between first and second. Then you have second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and you're always going up and down that ladder. We don't need this stick anymore. So let's begin. Now, we're going to give it a few revs. Here's the throttle. We're going to adjust this real quick, this camera, to where it's pointing down a little bit, because if I don't do that, I mean where it's pointing up a little bit, if I don't do that, when I lean forward, you're not going to get anything. So just pretend that my arms are in fact your arms, and it looks like we're good to go. Now I want to show you something on the helmet. Hopefully you can see this. Put it on full screen, but you see how inside there's this shade. Let's see if I could do it like that. There's an internal shade inside the helmet. This is a one storm helmet, or eye storm. I've seen it called different things. It's good to get a helmet where you have two visors built into the helmet. You have the clear one and then a drop down dark one, because it's a pain when you're riding at night and you have a dark visor. So this way, with one helmet, you don't have to switch shields. The shield is built right into it. Now, find a parking lot like this when you're new, and what you're going to do is, if you could see the neutral light, I would definitely put this on full screen and save this video to your favorites or whatnot, because it's a long video and we're going to cover everything. We're going to cover counter steering, braking, shifting, you name it. Everything's going to be in one video. And I almost forgot to show you something. The purpose of this video is so you don't meet this dude here, the Grim Reaper. You don't want to meet that guy. That's our goal, is to keep you alive. It's been said 4 wheels moves the body, but 2 moves the soul. And so it is a blast to ride a motorcycle. So here's what you're going to do when you're new. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the new stuff. Go to a parking lot like this. Pull the clutch lever in on the left, and you're going to hold it, and you're going to kick down into first. And I don't know if you can see that light down there, but clutch in, kick down into first. Notice I'm still holding the clutch lever. Slowly let the clutch lever out, and as soon as the bike starts to move, pull it back in. Do that about 20-30 times, and then make sure no one's around. When the clutch engages and it starts to move forward, give it a little throttle, but don't release the clutch lever yet. Now release it fully as you start to move, And see, in a parking lot like this, you could practice. First gear. And then you're going to practice stopping. Now, the rule with stopping is you want to keep the handlebars straight. So let me show you something here. Very windy. Let's go over here. Want to keep the handlebars straight. So when you come to a stop, watch this. Handlebars straight, clutch in, get your left foot ready to come down. I'm putting both the brakes on, keep those handlebars straight, and there you go. We've stopped, and then a slight kick up from first goes into neutral. So remember, it's first, neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, neutral, 1. 1, neutral, 2, 2, neutral, 1, like that. Now, after you've done that a while and you practice stopping, let's do that one more time, then we're going to go out into the streets, and then we're going to show you freeways. Don't put the front brake on when you're going around corners. You could crash. So let's do this one more time. Notice we're in first. Pull the clutch lever in on the left. Put the brake down. Make sure you're kind of have your left foot go down. Don't lean the bike one way or the other. Try to keep it straight. Don't have the handlebars crooked, because if you come to a stop like this and you go to brake, all the weight, and believe it or not, these bikes are hundreds and hundreds of pounds. It's heavy. All the weight's going to go to the right, and you're not going to be able to hold it up. You want to keep all the weight right on that tire, okay? Right on both tires. So let's begin to do streets now. So I strongly suggest MSF course. There's this course, Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. I attended that, but they don't teach you the things that I'm going to teach you. But it is necessary. I would say try the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. So now I'm going to show you how to shift upward. The hardest part, in my opinion, about riding a motorcycle is first gear. So notice, coming to a stop, just kind of balancing it. I have the clutch out all the way. We have a red light here. Watch this. Clutch in. I'm now braking, but we got the green. So notice we're still in gear, so you let the clutch out and give it some gas. Now, shifting gears is easy. Release the throttle, pull clutch in, kick up to second, release clutch. Now let's go down to neutral. Now notice I was in second and I tapped down, just a slight tap, and I'm in neutral. So when you're at a light, you can kind of, if you don't want to be holding the clutch lever the whole time, you can kind of tap up to neutral from first. Okay, so we're in first. Slowly let the clutch lever out, giving it throttle. I'm going to go a little bit faster because the light turned. Release throttle. Pull the clutch lever in, kick up to second, and then release the clutch lever. Now you're in second, clutch lever in. I'm braking. A slight tap down from second will put you in what? Neutral. You got it. So we're in neutral right now. But back to Motorcycle Safety Foundation, it's a great way to learn, but they don't teach you the things that you really need to know to stay alive, like counter steering and whatnot. So we're going to teach you counter steering, freeway driving, braking, defensive riding, so you don't meet the Grim Reaper. Another thing too, gear is very important while we're waiting. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to put this up close. This has mesh. It's a mesh jacket. There's microscopic holes in this jacket. So if you ride where it's very hot, you can take off the inner lining of this jacket and the air just like flows through. And if you ride where it's kind of warm, kind of cold, I should say, and you want to stay warm, you can put the lining back on the jacket. Notice everything is just manipulating the gear that you have. So I do like the One Storm helmet because it does have the internal visor, and I do like this jacket because it does have it where you can put the liner on. So slowly let the clutch out. You're in first. Clutch lever in, kick up to second. So remember, let's talk about this. When you're shifting, you're always going to release the throttle in between shifts. So we're in neutral now. I'm in neutral because I kicked down from second, and now I just put it in first. So there's a lot of shifting with these motorcycles, but it's not exhausting because you're using your foot mostly. Okay, watch. Release throttle, clutch lever in, kick up to second, release clutch lever, roll back onto throttle. So do this for a while, and hold on, my strap on my helmet's clicking. So let's pick up speed here. One time I was riding over here and I saw a motorcycle fatality, and I'll show you what happened here. You really pick up speed coming down this hill, and I guess some car ran the light, or the motorcycle rider ran the light. I don't know what happened, and he got killed. Right over here at this light here. I mean, his bike was like just in pieces all over the place. Very unfortunate. So this is why we do these videos. So we're in third, and notice you're going downhill. When do you shift? This is a question that comes up a lot. Every bike is different. I would say the more powerful the bike, the later on you're going to be shifting later on. The weaker the bike, or the smaller motor, you're going to be shifting sooner in those, front gears, because it winds out a lot. What I mean by shifting sooner, you're going to shift up into another gear sooner. So where you can go a speed on this bike on fourth gear, like on a Ninja 250, you're probably going to be in sixth gear. So we're going to show you counter steering coming up here, and notice you just kind of just go with it. It's pretty easy that just when you go to stop. And when you're new, I would count the gears that you're in. So notice what I do, there's three parts to stopping. I start to slow down just by coasting, then I start braking and downshifting at the same time. Let's go over here. And notice I'm downshifting, and now I'm in neutral. I like to kind of downshift where right when I'm getting to the traffic light, I'm in neutral. So let's say you're in fourth gear and you're starting to stop, you'll go to third, second, and then right when you're almost at a stop, I'll tap down from second into neutral. Okay, go through the gears with me. First, second, remember we're kicking up. Third. Let's talk a little bit about something. I know I said neutral is after in between first and second, and that's true. Well, basically, if you slight tap, just a little tap with your toe, you'll get the hang of it. Up from first, you'll be in neutral. If you just kick up till you feel metal, you'll feel your finger, your toe hit metal, then you know you're in second. Because you can't kick up from first into third. Remember the ladder scenario. So let's talk about counter steering. Counter steering is where you turn the handlebars in the opposite way you're going to go. So if I'm going to go sharp left here, I'm going to pull back towards my body on the right like this. Watch. And see how it leans it? And you can practice counter steering even going straight. And we do have a dramatic counter steering coming up here that we're going to show you, and then we're going to get on freeways, and then we're going to take you to the twisty. So notice front brake and rear brake as I'm downshifting. I'm just slightly braking. We're going to talk to you about that. Now I'm in second. Now I'm in neutral. See that? A good way to describe braking it is not like how you brake on a car, okay? It's more like you're squeezing an orange. Imagine you have this orange and you're squeezing it, and the more pressure you put on this orange, the more pressure it's putting on your brakes to stop. You don't want to just jam the brakes on a motorcycle. I know some of the modern motorcycles have anti-lock brakes, but if you don't have anti-lock brakes, forget it. So watch this. We got a sharp corner to the left. So what are you going to do? You're going to pull back on the right while pushing forward on the left, just ever so slightly. Now watch how it throws it into the corner. I'm going to stay on the lines here so you can see this. Right now. See how it leans it into the corner? And I'm actually applying pressure the opposite way of the handlebars. Now we're going to go to the right. I'm going to pull back towards me on the left handlebar, push forward on the right. Right now. See how you do it? You just hold that pressure there. It's easy. Just hold it around the corner. Now we have one to the left. So let me ask you, what are you going to do? If you're going to the left, sharp corner, you can't just lean it. You're going to need a counter steer. You're going to pull back on the right, pull forward, push forward on the left away from you, like this. The left handlebar I'm pushing forward towards the way I'm driving. The right handlebar I'm pulling back towards my body, and it leans the motorcycle. Now you can try this. Watch this. I'm going to be pulling back on the left, and watch what happens. We go to the right. Pull back on the right, you go to the left. And for strong corners, you're going to do both pulling back and pushing forward on the other opposite handlebar. So just remember, counter steering is very important. You know, most people crash because they don't know counter steering. You see these videos on YouTube and they crash because they don't understand counter steering. So what we're going to do, let's get in front here. Now we're still like in third, so when do you shift? Every bike's different. Remember we were saying if it's like a Ninja 250, you're going to be shifting almost close to red line because you need more power, and that bike likes to be ridden like that. This bike I'll shift like right around 5,000, you know, riding it normally. Now we're going to get on the freeway and watch how we let it wind out a little bit more, okay? Now, another thing too, if you're new to motorcycle riding, it's hard to get a sense of the speed that you're going at sometimes. You know, when you're in a car, you're kind of kicking back and, you know, you're looking at the gauges and stuff. And with the motorcycle, you're mostly just like looking ahead. You're not always looking at the gauges. So I'm going to really pull back on the left here. Got a lot of counter steering here. Now notice on the freeway, speed is life. So what you're going to do, we're going to shift it right around, let's say 6,000. Third gear. When you're new, just stay to the right. There's no shame in that. Just stay to the right while you're new till you get the hang of it. It is pretty daunting when you get on a motorcycle on the freeway. You'll find the more power you have on your motorcycle, the less terrifying it is. The less power you have, the more terrifying. Especially the mean, evil freeways I ride in California, they'll go 85, 90, and the speed limit's 65. So you got to have something that really has some meat on its bones. So freeway, all I can tell you is, you know, don't ride so close. Have a protective bubble around you. Notice how I have an escape. I won't ride next to someone if I can help it. I know that's problematic when there's a lot of people around and it's bumper to bumper. Now, one of the things too why you must absolutely learn counter steering, we're going to be getting off in a moment and we're going to be going to the twisties. And I'm going to show you up here we have, hopefully it's a high-speed corner and there's no traffic, but up here we're going to be switching freeways, and you can't be moping along as you're going on the freeway if you got all this fast traffic behind you. They want to go. Everyone's in a big hurry. So this is where counter steering helps. So watch this. Let's get over here. So we're basically in 6th gear, and this bike doesn't even break a sweat. We're at 5,000 RPMs. Another thing too, while we're talking here, if you have a bike that like runs hot, like these R1s run kind of hot, synthetic oil is great. Now we're in 6th gear. I'm going to downshift to 5th just because we're going uphill here. Pull back towards me on the left, push forward on the right. See how we do that? Notice we're keeping our speed as we go through, cutting in front of this guy because there's a big bump here on the left. Now, I'm going to give you a treat here. California is the only state in the entire United States where what I'm about to show you is legal. Lane splitting. Lane splitting in the UK, I believe you guys over there in the UK can do it too. You call it filtering. You ever watch the UK? The motorcycle riders there are so angry, and I have a theory why. The UK is much smaller than the United States, and so the motorcycle riders there are having to deal with all this congestion, and so it ticks them off, you know, and everyone's always pulling out in front of them. I don't blame the UK riders for that, but all I can say is God bless America. I'm glad I don't live in the UK. You know, in the UK, you can be riding your motorcycle and the cops will just they'll have like these checkpoints, and they'll tell you to pull over, and they start fining you for things that are wrong with your motorcycle. I've never had that here in America. I believe that's just a way of control. It always keeps the people remembering that they are being controlled. So once you're on the freeway, notice it's simple. You just go. Again, I was lane splitting, and this is the only state, California, where lane splitting is legal, and we got a lot of bumps here. But we're going to be getting off and going to the twisties now. Got to be careful with that lane splitting, though. That's the #1 reason why motorcycle riders crash on the freeway. Especially if you're going fast. I mean, I feel sorry for the car drivers. They can't see you because there's cars behind them blocking, and then we fly up right alongside. You know, why we're doing this, if I could talk to you a little bit more about some motorcycle videos I see. I'm not upset when people are texting. I believe in freedom. I don't mind if people text. I really don't. I wish texting was legal, matter of fact, because people are still texting, but now it's more dangerous because they hide it below and they hide it down here, and then they're not looking at the road. Before, you can look at the road and just text because you weren't scared of being fined or given a ticket. Now, people are still texting. It hasn't stopped anything, but now it's more dangerous. So our government has passed laws that you can't text, but they're still texting. They're just doing it now in a more dangerous fashion. So I wish people would text in the open rather than holding the phone down there, and then they look up and then there's me and they run into me. So after we go around this corner here, we're going to be going to some twisties, and also let's talk about what motorcycle you should get. If you're going to be going on freeways, for heaven's sakes, I would get at least a 600. At least. Notice, all you're doing is just holding the throttle going. You're not going to kill yourself on a 600. Now, if I pull the throttle back and I start weaving in and out of traffic, well, of course. You know, there's risk with everything. But look, this is it. Would you rather have less power doing this or more power? I guarantee you any guys that are seasoned riders where they've ridden a lot of motorcycles will say they feel safer with more power on the freeway than less power, because you do have more power and more safety when you have more power. If you're on a Ninja 300, wonderful bike by the way, you can pull the throttle back and it's not going to do anything and you're in 6th gear. It's not. Now I'm in 6th gear. Notice I'm just slightly pulling the throttle back and see how we're accelerating. I like that. I don't want to pull the throttle back and have nothing happen. All right, so now let's get into the twisty. Okay, so we're here at the twisties and we're pulling out. There's some gravel here, so now we're going to take you on a slightly more advanced course. Now I want to show you something. Look, 221, 217 Fahrenheit temperature. Watch how just from going it cools down so fast. Now right here, see on the outside, pull back left, and then we're in the center. Some corners you're just gonna have to stop, like this one here. Look, this is like the slowest corner I've ever seen, 15 miles per hour. So what I'll do is I just kind of go real slow because there's oncoming traffic on the left lane. I'll kind of go on the outside and then kind of pull through here. All right, so let's take you on a slightly more advanced course. Beautiful horses out here, livestock. So notice we have a corner here, 25 miles per hour. It is problematic sometimes because the traffic cuts the corner. So right here I'm going to pull back on the left. Nice and smooth. I mean, you know, sometimes people will cut into your lane. So, you know, I don't know what you can do on that. Just say a prayer before you drive. Pull back on the right here. I'm going to upshift. And I'm going to show you railroad tracks, what to do there. Pull back here on the left. So it's not good for your motorcycle to just fly over the railroad tracks. So try, oh great, good, I don't have to fly over it because there's a train there. So what you want to do going over the railroad tracks is try to, wonder if I can cut through there. Oh well, they're going. Try to have some distance from you and the person, and the person in front of you and behind you. And let's kind of adjust this a little. I feel like there's a motorcycle up here. Oh, this dude. And try to have some distance from the person in front of you and behind you, which I can't really do right now because now it's bumper to bumper. But I'm going to show you these tracks are very bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go very slow, just in the stirrup, so to speak, on the pegs. All right, so we're going to let them get some distance. 55 mile per hour speed limit. Here we go. I mean, if there's like a dog or something that runs in front of you, there's not much you can do. You don't want to be swerving onto oncoming traffic. One time I was on the freeway, check this out, and I'm going about 65, and I go to get around this slow moving vehicle like in front of me, and as I go around there, there's a tire, and it's not on the rim, it's just like, you know, like a truck tire, that just the tread of it. So they say just get on your pegs and then put all the weight on the back of the motorcycle and then just rev the motorcycle, try to lift the front end when you're going over it. And I did that, and I went right over it, and it didn't wobble or anything like that. I was like, wow, I got lucky, because it was like, you know, vertical. We have some high-speed counter steering here. I'm letting these people get some distance so I can show you. This is where you really need to know counter steering, especially at the higher speeds. Okay, so what are you going to do here? You have a left corner. I'll kind of start here. Count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm pulling back on the right. Slightly pulling back on the left. Pulling back pretty strong, like medium pull, pulling back towards me on the left here. Downshifting since they're slowing. Looks like we're at the crest, the top of the hill. Now we're just starting to go down the other end. Now I'm just coasting. Watch, I'm not really braking because we're coming down the hill here. As the speed increases, the distance between the vehicle in front of you should increase also. I don't know why everyone's riding their brakes. I'm just kind of coasting, letting the motor do the braking. Pulling back on the left, pushing forward on the right slightly. What I would do, we're going to be getting on the freeway real quick here. What I would do, guys, is look below this video for some other videos that we've done where I've ridden other motorcycles and talk about how they handle in different circumstances. So what did we learn? Braking, remember, you're never going to want to put your front brake on going around a corner. You're going to brake, you're going to squeeze it like an orange, just the more pressure that you're giving. You're not just going to jam the brake on, you're going to slowly give it pressure. When you're shifting, you're going to release the throttle, pull the clutch lever here in on the left, switch up or down into gear on your left leg, your toe. Then you're going to release the clutch lever on the left. Oh, look at these guys. Everyone like jammed on their brakes. I'm going to get over here. And then, that's another thing I'm kind of glad that happened. So notice how everyone kind of stopped. You're better off just sometimes just going on the side like I did rather than chancing that you're going to get rear-ended. So to shift, release throttle, pull clutch lever in, shift into gear with your left toe, release clutch lever on the left, and then roll back onto throttle. So we're going to get on the freeway here. I want to keep that motor kind of tight where it's slowing me down as I'm approaching, but yet if I give it throttle, it'll immediately, you know, go into gear. And I think we're in second. So what I do here, notice I'm on the outside. I pull on the inside here. And we're off. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Really cool car coming up on our left over here. I wonder what it is. Let's see. Corvette, I think. Notice I'm even below 5,000 RPMs. We're going against the wind real strong right now. See if it's a Corvette. Mustang. Oh no, Camaro, sorry. From North Carolina. I'm in California. They're from North Carolina. They're far. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week. Now up into 6.